I do freelance historical research, and I came across a headline that caught my attention, and it was an article from a guy from Hawaii who was fighting in the Civil War. This is in 1864, and this letter talks about how he had run across two Hawaiians, and they had a good long jabber in Kanaka, and he was thrilled to have met somebody from home. That article sparked my attention. I went, what? Hawaiians fought in the Civil War? How can that be? So I clipped that article, I put it in a file, and I decided I would look more into this topic. That goal was sort of propelled in 2008 when I met Auntie Edna Ellis. She has a great-grand uncle, Hawaiian man, who served in the American Civil War. We formed a little hui of different people from the community to make a plaque in memory of these guys. This topic is very challenging from a researcher's point of view because so many Hawaiians went to fight in the Civil War. Names were changed. When they registered, they listed as their place of origins the Sandwich Islands. So we know that those are Hawaiians, but when you look at their names are English names. To date, I've identified 110 individuals who were either born and raised in Hawaiian Islands or lived here for most of their lives who went to fight in the Civil War. And of those, the majority, 90%, fought in the Union Army. Henry Ho'olulu Pittman was another Hawaiian that the film will focus on. His mother was the High Chiefess Kinaole o Liliha, the High Chiefess of the Ho'ahupua'a of Hilo. But because he was half Hawaiian, half Caucasian, he actually pulled looking more like his father, very Caucasian looking. When the Civil War breaks out, he's living in the Boston area, and he enlists in the Union Army as a private. He serves in many important battles, and he gets captured early on. He's transferred to a prison called Camp Parole in Maryland. He dies just before his 18th birthday in prison camp from a disease that he picked up. I was able to obtain his military service records from the National Archives. He was buried in the prison camp, and then the father buried him in one of the most famous cemeteries in America, Mount Auburn Cemetery in Boston. We're going to have somebody who's going to portray Samuel Chapman Armstrong, for example, because he was a prolific writer during his course of his service in the Civil War. One of the most interesting sub-stories to this whole Hawaii Sons of the Civil War is that there were people from Hawaii, mostly Hawaiians, who fought in this Confederate Navy. Now, how did that happen? In 1865, the Confederacy sent out 3 ships that were called raiders to seek out and destroy merchant ships, whaling ships. So one of the ships was called the CSS Shenandoah, to go into the Pacific and destroy the Northern Whale Fleet. Whale oil was still the main source of oil because petroleum wasn't yet fully developed. And they end up destroying, within a 1-year period, 38 ships. And many of those were Hawaiian registered ships. Most of the sailors on these Hawaiian ships were native Hawaiians, and they gave them 3 options. Put you out at the next harbor that we come to, or we'll put you in our hold and you'll go to prison camp, or you can serve with us as bona fide Confederate naval seamen. Lo and behold, a number of them chose to do just that, and they served on the CSS Shenandoah as legitimate Confederate sailors. We're in the research and development phase. I'm a producer / research director. We're going to spend 10% about Hawaii declaring neutrality and Hawaii's connections to America through whaling, sugar. But the main part of our story will be the individuals who fought in the war and their stories. I'm feeding it to Todd Osberg. He's a producer / director, and to Wayne Moniz, who is a scriptwriter. He's from Maui. We have a website. It's www.thehawaiisonsofthecivilwar.com. You can find our trailer and go directly there and donate to the project.